All right, guys, today we're going to talk about activations and troubleshooting. So we're going to take a look at two situations and major situations that you absolutely must know if you're going to work for a cell phone carrier, T-Mobile, Verizon, AT&T, you name it. And this is generally going to be the case over here. General problems that customers call in terms of activations are activations of new numbers. The customers generally call to the call center to verify if the activation went through, if the activation was successful, if their number was activated correctly. Second situation is a number transfer situation, or what we call in the call center terms there, a port in. A port in is simply a transfer number from one carrier, one cell phone carrier to another cell phone carrier. So that's a port in. And these are the two main concerns that customers have when they activate a new line of service, or when they decide to transfer their existing number to our carrier, our current carrier. So that's what we're going to discuss about today. But first, we need to understand the basics of as cell phone activations. There are two numbers that you need to work with when you're activating a cell phone service with a customer. The first one is the SIM card number. The SIM card number is basically the number that's attached to the microchip, to the little chip that's inside your cell phone device. This number is usually a very long number. It's a mouthful because it's very long. It's usually somewhere between 18 to 22 digits, depending on the cell phone carrier. Here's an example for a T-Mobile activation SIM card number. Usually for T-Mobile SIM card activations, these SIM cards usually start with the 8901 denomination, and everything else will be unique for the customer SIM card. So it's a mouthful because it's a long number, and you got to make sure to have the correct SIM card number. And trust me, if you make a mistake here, that baby is not going to fly. It's not going to activate. The second number that you have to look into is what we call the IMEI number. IMEI number. The IMEI number is basically a 16-digit length number, which is called the International Mobile Equipment Identity. Yeah, that's also a mouthful. Okay. And what it is basically it's, let's say, the cell phone's DNA, or the cell phone's unique identification number. So every cell phone has this standard, this unique number, which identifies it as a particular phone in the world. So cell phones are issued a unique IMEI identification number, which serve for many reasons. Customers have this number when they want to, let's say, if their phone gets lost or stolen, then customers can block their phone service, their device, simply by calling us, the carrier. And with the IMEI number, we can put a block on it. We can place a trace on it. We can assist the customer in many ways. For the activation purpose, we need to associate a SIM card to a unique device, to a unique IMEI number. And it's, like I said, it's a mouthful. It's 15 digits in length. Here's an example of an IMEI number. These, of course, vary depending on the manufacturer of the cell phone. Now, also, here's an interesting code, right? A quick code that you should be able to manipulate and help your customer in getting access to the IMEI number. Now, in our new generation of cell phones, we can't remove the battery like in the good old days where we could remove batteries, and underneath the battery, we had the IMEI number. With our modern cell phones, however, we don't have the option to remove batteries. So one easy way to get into the IMEI number, if the customer forgets, doesn't know where it is or where to locate it, or your system does not display it, we could just simply ask the customer, Mr. Customer, can you punch in the *#06# code on your phone, and it will display your IMEI number. This works for Android devices. Let me show you. I think I got an Android around here somewhere. Let's see. So this is an Android device, right? A Huawei model. We're going to try the IMEI number. So you can tell Mr. Customer, can you please go to your dial-up app, to your phone app, and I want you to dial star. This is called the star. Pound. This is called the pound symbol, or number symbol, 06 pound, something like this. Oh, and there it is. Here it is. It's displayed. Here at the bottom, we got the IMEI number for this phone, the unique identifier identity number, and also the serial number for this phone device. So these two numbers are very important. And when you're activating a new phone for a customer, it's important to register the IMEI number for many reasons, for security purposes, etc. So make sure to assist your customer with some self-help and save yourself some time by using this quick access phone code to get your IMEI number. Now, in terms of getting the other code that we need over here, in terms of getting the SIM card, actually, we can't get a quick code for this. We actually have to walk the customer through some steps in order to get the SIM card number, but it's rather easy. So the steps that you're going to use to walk the customer through the process are rather easy. You're going to ask the customer, you're going to walk the customer through these steps like this. So step one, go to settings, Mr. Customer, look for the about your phone or about device. Tap on that baby and then look for tap for ICCID. Don't ask me what that means right now. And or tap on the SIM card number and it should display. So here, let me show you with my trusty device. Again, I'm going to go to the phone settings, quick settings over here for this little guy. There it is. I'm going to tap on the gear icon from the menu. I'm going to scroll and look for the about phone, and Android device is rather easy. We tap on that baby, and there it is. This has the MU operating system, so you can see it down below. The IMEI number for this baby is 8654, and I'm not going to say the rest, but there it is. So that's how you can walk the customer through some easy steps in order to get the SIM card number. So there you go. So just a little recap. So far, for the activation process, two numbers that we need to manipulate, help the customer with, and to get the activation going for the customer, whether if we are number transferring or activating a new number, is the SIM card. That's the unique SIM card number, 18 to 22 digits, depending on the carrier. Most denominations start with the 8901 denomination. The IMEI number, which is the unique mobile equipment identifier or identity number, is going to be a 16-digit unique number, similar to a serial number for a phone. You can get that number rather quickly by putting in this short key code, the *#06# on the customer's phone app to retrieve the IMEI number, or you can get the SIM card number by following these steps in order to get that SIM card number. So that's the first thing that we need to do and understand for an activation process. Now we're going to discuss how these processes actually work. Okay, so let's take a look over here. All right, so in terms of activating a line, if you've never done this before, this is done through the purchase of a SIM card. So usually when you can just purchase the SIM card in the form of a starter kit or an activation kit. It's called a starter kit, which is just like a credit card type of plastic form, like a credit card type of plastic form. And in there, you have the SIM chip that you're going to activate. That's called the starter kit. And the starter kit contains different codes. Of course, it's going to have your SIM card number. It's going to have an activation code that you have to request a customer for. Depending on the cell phone carrier, activation codes will vary in length and denominations, but basically the starter kit will contain this information. Also, the PUK number. The PUK number is a unique number which is used to lock the device in the case that the phone needs to protect itself after many attempts to put into the password. So after a certain amount of attempts that have failed, the phone goes into its automatic protection mode, and it will not let's say be functional unless the PUK code is put in there correctly. So it's just the way the phone protects itself in its SIM card. This number is also found with the activation. So also important, some customers lose their PUK code, so they'll actually call you back to get this PUK code in the event that they get locked out of their phone. So basically, that's what a starter kit is. And when you activate a line, you're going to, besides registering the customer into your system and whatnot, you're going to request for the unique SIM card number, the IMEI number, the customer's activation code, and that's how you're going to get your customer started. If the customer desires to acquire service with a brand new number, start with a new number, or in the case the customer wants to transfer his existing line. So whichever, you're going to need these codes from the starter kit. The second activation process, which is super common, is what we call the port in process, which is, it's just jargon for transfer, a number transfer. And this is a process that could happen immediately. It could take a couple of minutes, but depending on the carriers, this process could take a bit longer, from 24 hours to 3 business days, depending on where the phone is coming. So let's say that the customer has a number from Straight Talk, which is an existing popular carrier. And the customer will transfer his line, his existing number, to T-Mobile, which is our carrier, let's say. So let's say the customer has a 502-22-5555, whatever. So this is the customer's Straight Talk number. Now the customer wants to switch service, wants to switch, he wants to change carrier, right? He wants to change his cell phone carrier. He wants T-Mobile to be his new carrier. So he goes and purchases an T-Mobile activation starter kit with a SIM card. All he has to do is pop out his Straight Talk SIM card and boom, and punch in the T-Mobile SIM card that he's going to activate with. Now, during the activation process, there's different steps that you need to perform in the system in order to start the port in process. So this is going to take some process, because we have the port transfer center, right? The port transfer center is this hub where the carriers all get together and they work out which number is coming from where and what number is coming from who, depending on different policies. So it has to go through. So the Straight Talk number has to go through the port, the port transfer center. And if everything checks out okay, then it is released to T-Mobile. And this number here, this baby over here, if everything goes through according to plan, then this new number will now be activated here with T-Mobile, and it will cease to work under Straight Talk. So that's what a port in is. That's what a number transfer is. And customers will call you about this all the time. So this is a very common process. If there is some kind of discrepancy, some kind of problem, then the process will not go through and the number will remain with Straight Talk, right? The number will remain with Straight Talk. And that's when we got customers calling in and verifying, hey, I want to verify if my transfer went through, right? So that's where we have to go in and do a couple of steps there to make sure that it does. So that is what a transfer is. That's what a port in is. And that's what customers will be calling you about. And that's what we're going to hear in a couple of moments. All right, guys? So just in general terms, right? I'm not going into the tech steps that you actually need to follow in the system. I'm sure that your product trainer, when you get into that stage, you guys will discuss the different system steps for each carrier that you're going to work with, different informations that you need to require, and expectations that you need to set the customer, give the customer, right? So, but this will give you like a general idea of what a number transfer is, what a port in is, and what to expect from it, okay? So there you go. Those are the two main reasons, or main, let's say, situations why customers would call the activations department or the customer service department. It would be, first of all, to check in on a number activation, whether that be new or a port in, a transfer, and to verify also the status of the number transfer or the number or the port in. Okay, so that's what we're going to do.